so step 3, we've let the dough rise for 4 hours, and now we're going to add the rest of the ingredients and then let it rise before we bake it. So first of all, we're going to add 3 cups of whole wheat flour. That is, if you've been using whole wheat. Otherwise, you can use white. I seem to find that the starter works a lot better and a lot quicker if I use whole wheat flour. I don't know why that is. Maybe somebody could leave a comment and let me know, but it seems to work a lot better. So that's 2 cups, and then my 3rd cup. Alright, then you'll add half a cup of room temperature water. And one of the things I didn't talk about beforehand was that you need to make sure that your water is room temperature and that it's filtered. You can't use water that's been filtered that's city water because it will still have the chlorine in it. If you can somehow filter it and get the chlorine out, then that'd be great. But I've tried before using filtered water with the chlorine still in it, and my starter just never really worked very well. Okay, after you've added the 3 cups of flour, the half cup of water, then you're going to add some honey. My recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of honey, but I like to add some more, so I'm going to add maybe 3 tablespoons. Alright, so that would probably be about 3 tablespoons. Next, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of oil. I use olive oil. But before we do that, I'm going to be using the same tablespoon for some dried herbs that I'm going to be adding. So let's do that before we get it all oily. I'm making this a very savory bread. I love to make sweet and savory breads. So this kind is going to have Italian seasonings, Italian herbs, and basil, and some cut up sun-dried tomatoes, probably about 1/4 cup. So first I'm going to add, let's see, 1 tablespoon of Italian herbs. This is going to be making 2 loaves, so consider that. And then 1 teaspoon of basil. Alright, now I can add the oil. And I said that would be 2 tablespoons of oil. Alright, and then 2 teaspoons of salt. A little bit too much salt. Alright, let's see. I think all we have to add now is the sun-dried tomatoes. And then you're going to knead it well until it forms a smooth dough ball. I'm going to start with a spoon, and then I'm going to go to my hands. make sure this is still filming. Because I know mine runs out of space sometimes. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to go and start kneading it with my hands because this is getting really stiff. We can crop out some of this stuff. It'd be nice if somebody could be actually professionally filming and then filming my hands, kneading it and all that. That's okay. We're not professional, so that's why we aren't doing it.
Man, Corey's still here.
Good. Maybe he's digging the well. Alright, that's a big stiff ball of dough. So I'm going to sprinkle my cutting board or my counter, whatever you're going to use, with some of this flour. Just so it doesn't stick. Now I'm going to roll out the dough here. Oops. And I'm just going to knead it even better than I could in a bowl. Now, if you find that it is too firm, you can add some more water to it, or you can add some more flour to it if you have to. Just, you don't have to be perfectly precise, as long as it's turning out the way that you think it should. My sun-dried tomatoes are falling out for some reason. I think maybe my dough is too dry, but I think it's okay. Okay, so we're going to half this to make 2 loaves. And we're going to roll this out kind of into a cylinder. And to make a really nice loaf, once you roll it out, you're going to fold it up into 2/3, kind of like an envelope. So I don't know if you can see this, but you can. Roll it into 1/3, and then for one more time, I'm going to roll it back out and flatten it. Bless you. Taking a while. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of flatten it. going to roll it up again, but not into thirds. I'm just going to roll it into a very tight roll, as you will see. Just as tight as I can get it. Like so. I'm going to take one of my greased pans. And, well, before I put it in, I'm going to try and make it about as long as the pan, if possible. You can do this however you want. Just don't stretch on it. Alright, and then you're going to put the seam side down into the pan and do the same thing with this next loaf. Alright, so the second loaf, you can do the same thing, placing it seam side down into the pan. And then you're going to take 2 towels or cloths. You're going to wet them with warm water. Okay, you're going to cover your pans with these wet cloths. You're going to place them in the oven with the light on, and you're going to leave them there for 2 or 3 hours. I found 3 hours works best, and then we'll come back after they've risen for 3 hours.